You know, when we talked about this question a little bit before, I've kind of brought it up to the high level, which is um, I used to teach a class called the Coming Energy Revolution, and I would argue, you know, we're certainly in it. We've also been in a state of energy transition constantly, but a benchmark I would say is when the classmate of mine from the GSB who's on this call, when we were in business school together, one of our professors came in with a Motorola cell phone the size of a brick. And that was a cell phone, and it didn't text and it had no apps, but we called it a cell phone. And so I would say many things, and that was 1985. And so if you just round up and say we're in 2025 now, 40 years later, you know, a cell phone today is very different, right? And so a wind turbine in 1985 was a 100 kilowatt turbine. It was very expensive, so it was very small. Today, a standard wind turbine is 2 to 3 megawatt turbine. It has an amazing brain in it. You can upload software to it the way you upload software to people if they have a Tesla. They know what that's like. So the level of sophistication in power electronics, in scaling, and our ability to create digital twins of things and understand them, it affects the whole system. But I listed a few, but I kind of, if you think of what's happened to a cell phone in 40 years, it's happened to many parts of the energy system. I think, you know, the price of wind and solar has come way down. And in spite of the fact that the federal government created subsidies that were very, very intermittent, you know, we're here. And part of what I think many people are learning is that, you know, renewables harness a free resource. So the wind and the sun are free. And then we use a technology which kind of tends to, you know, follow Moore's law more than, whereas with oil and gas and coal and even lithium and things like that, those are stock resources. Those are extractive. It's a different story. So wind, solar have, as everybody knows, and batteries, the costs are coming down dramatically. Gas, as I talked about, due to a lot of technology innovation and regulatory innovation, gas has displaced coal. We're going to have new rules around gas. They're in the place to manage the leakage part of it, at least in the US, and we need it globally. Coal is coming down in the US, but it's not in the rest of the world. So that's tricky. An area of innovation, climate innovation, is on the regulatory side too, Lori, which is, you know, the role of ARPA-E, which, you know, the dean of our new school at Stanford, the Dorr School, Arun Majumdar, played a big role at ARPA-E, and Jigar Shah's there now, you know, and you know, the government is playing a big role in climate innovation. NREL, the National Renewable Energy Lab, big role they're playing. We have, I think it's up to 25 states have green banks now, playing a big role in bringing capital into these spaces. But just a couple other ideas. You know, I have my bias of who I know and everything, but I think it was Shail Khan at EIP framed Tesla as a wave-making company. You know, Tesla brought electric vehicles to reality, and they brought energy storage and batteries as something that then all these other companies are being founded around that whole ecosystem. You wouldn't have ChargePoint if Tesla hadn't come first, kind of idea. And so those kinds of innovations, and fundamentally just going back to this, the computing revolution to create cloud platforms, to have machine learning and AI, it's enhancing everything from horizontal drilling to how we create digital twins of a wind farm to make sure it operates optimally. But just to stick to, you know, we tend to always go to the tech. I think a huge innovation to this space is we're having a massive talent migration of people into this space who have superpowers from other things. And that's helping de-risk. And then an unsung story I didn't really appreciate till 2.5, 3 years ago is with 91% of the global economy setting net zero goals of some sort, you're seeing corporates moving in even to the early stage space and saying, we need to sign up and be a customer really early. We need to help drive this. And so the combination of innovations that are technical, that are behavioral, that are market, and that are regulatory, you know, they're all gearing up. And I just thought of one more. I apologize that this isn't quite in order, but there's sleepy stories of innovation that a lot of us don't recognize, like there was phenomenal state policy in Texas to create something called the CREZ, which really escalated when, you know, Texas is the by far leading force in wind development in the country. And if they hadn't had that state policy, they couldn't harness that resource. So all these things are, we could kind of keep going. It's been a very busy stage we've gotten to now to really inflect to more speed and scale going forward.